How's it going, boss?
What's going on, YouTube? I am here with the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Just Stack It himself. What's up, buddy?
It feels like Monday. I gotta turn this thing off. Can you hear me?
Hold on.
Audio?
I'm not. Something's up on my end. Give me a second here.
Check
Let's try that.
settings.
There.
Audio.
Yep, I'm an idiot. All right.
You
How
got
doing,
it?
brother? Yep.
Okay. I'm good. Surprisingly for Monday. I took Friday off last week for my birthday, and so I had a long weekend, but it seems like it was mostly uneventful. I got some stuff accomplished, but you know how that is. Sometimes when you're off, all you want to do is nothing.
Man, we got a lot of people in the chat already. What's up, everybody? Everyone, let's see. We got Vendetta, My Silver Journey, Mr. Silver and Cigars, which we're going to do a live tomorrow. DJ Clark, Mickey, a.k.a. 47, Anthony, DJ Clark. Man, we got a lot of people in here. I appreciate everybody showing up.
Yep, Hillbilly Stacker. Oh, that guy.
Wow. Don't forget to smash the like button, guys.
Okay.
I want to get everyone familiar with Just Stack It. He's been putting out some really, really good content lately. You used to do a lot of shorts, and now you're doing more longer videos, right?
Well, so on my last channel, shorts really wasn't a thing. TikTok was just coming up. So I never really got into the short form. So then when I came and started building this channel, I got some advice from some good creators, Big Flip being one of them. And he told me, you have to do shorts. And it helps a lot. Obviously, I'm at I think 1,400 subs or something. But a lot of that just does not seem to translate over into the long form content. So I've cut back on the shorts. And now I'm focusing more on trying to put out more long form content so that I can build that base, and then later I'm sure I'll whip them back up and start putting them back out. But I think it's a pipe dream for anyone to try to build an entire channel on shorts, at least in the stacking side of things. I just don't think we have enough reach for that.
If you're a hot chick and you can twerk, though, you probably got it down.
Yeah, no bra.
Mellow, man. All you guys fly. Siren's in the live. Hello, Siren.
Well, the thing we got to talk about first, though, is your recent success. You've had a couple of videos do really well. One do extremely well. And you have now surpassed 1,000 subscribers very quickly, if I might add. I think the last time I was really tracking, you were somewhere in the 750 range. And then seems like a few short weeks later, you're already past 1,000. So you're growing very well.
Successful videos. You must be talking about somebody else, not this guy. Yeah, well, last week I actually had an LCS video do 8.5K views, and that was phenomenal for me. And then I've almost forgotten that, because the video I put out, I think yesterday, it's over 25,000 views, which I was like, what? I got up, and a half hour after it dropped, it was at 8:56. I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. Woke up another half hour later, it was at 5,000 or something. I'm like, whoa. So that was cool. And let's talk giveaway. Mike's Big Epiphany here, Hillbilly Stacker, SGT, Scully, Garbage Man. I'm not trying to forget anybody. Scully, Silver and Gold Stack Attack. Anyway, so that video yesterday did 25K views, and it's still going. It's smaller, and it's just I can't believe it. I'm about to hit my 4,000 watch hours too. I think I should be there. It's crazy. So today I went into the LCS. I did a short. I bought the 10 ounces I'm going to be giving away soon to 3 lucky people. And I made a miscalculation. This is almost embarrassing to say.
Okay.
And this is why the live took a little longer to start. I don't keep a lot of money in my checking account because it doesn't make me any money. and I'd forgotten that I have a couple bills coming out, and I'd forgotten that I transferred some money into my brokerage account and a savings account the other day, and I was like, oh, that's not going to leave me much money when when all this clears. So I had to pull some money out of the safe and go deposit it just to feel comfortable. I can't fall below a certain threshold and be comfortable. I don't know if anyone else is that way, but that's kind of where I'm at. So that's what's going on. I'm getting old.
Yeah. Yeah, that happens. I know I try not to do the automatic payments. If I put something on automatic, number one, I know I have the money for it, whatever it is. And number two, it's got to be important. Like car insurance, I think I have on there, my car payment, I have on there. I try to stay away from that. I met a gentleman. This was way back when, probably before even you started stacking. I think this was probably around like 2005. And I had said something. The guy asked me about like, well, what are you doing for retirement? You're young. He was like one of these guys. And, we talked about it, and I said, I'm just barely getting by. I'm not even thinking about retirement. And he said, no, you need to. And I remember he showed me a 1 ounce gold coin. And at the time I had no appreciation for it. But he, we were talking, and he, obviously it's a different time, but he said, I pay cash for everything. Because we were talking about like, debits from your bank accounts and all that was really starting to come into play around that time, at least, in the popular culture. And he said, I don't give anyone the authorization to reach into my bank account to do anything. I pay everything myself with cash or, in person. And that, it didn't resonate with me as much as it probably should have then. But now looking back on it, it's just sometimes you get information given to you that you're not in a good position to really act on or accept. And then now looking back on it, I'm like, man, if I had changed my thinking then, I'd probably be in a much better position now.
Yeah, totally. And a lot of people don't realize too, and people think I'm crazy when I say this. If everyone would pay cash for everything, things would be cheaper because there's no merchant fee, and people they don't get that. They don't realize when they slide their card, even if it's not a rewards card, that the merchant still gets hit with a nasty fee, and that gets carried on to the customer.
In one form or another. Now, I will state there has been, I'm trying to think of where I was. It wasn't a coin shop, but because coin shops, they're all standard. If you're using a card, they're going to throw that percentage back at you, 3.5, whatever it is. And that's pretty common. But I was somewhere else making a payment for something, doing something. And they said, if you're paying with a card, we're going to add the 3%. And it struck me. I'm trying to remember where I was because I was traveling for work. And I can't think of it off the top of my head. But it was somewhere. And
there's nothing on top of your head, bro, except your hand. There's no hair. I'm in the same boat. Tonight's grooming night.
Thanks. But no, it was like, it was a store or, something, not, anything typical. And they were throwing the fee back at you too. And I kept thinking in my head, this is going to be like everybody's moving towards these digital payments and cards and things. But I can easily see once it's pretty much fully adopted already. But now it seems like there's going to be a shift to where they're going to go, oh, well, that extra fee, that's coming out of your pocket, not ours. And so There's also talk of maybe even being charged for cash transactions. So I was thinking about this and I did some research, and a lot of it's speculation. I'm not going to cite any sources, but it's been picked at a couple of times over about the last decade. But think about things like McDonald's, right? With the kiosks and how everyone's trying to cut labor and all of these things and innovate, whatever. But COVID taught us that you could still kind of bank a lot of times without the bank being open. ATMs, online banking and different things. So, how long are we away from like a virtual bank location, some kind of little closet room with an ATM and some other stuff? And then if you need to make like a cash transaction in person, you're going to be charged an extra fee because they have to pay somebody to be there to count that money, to do all of that. Like, it's going to become the exception and not the rule, I think. And so I think that that's coming sometime in the near future.
Yep. One thing, since we got 32 people in here, 32 people, 19 likes. I think we can do better, kids. If y'all could take a moment to smash that like button, I would appreciate you. I appreciate you for being here. So that the 10 ounces I picked up today for the GAW.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I'm gonna announce this in the video, but I'm also gonna put this out here now. I talked to Savage. What we're gonna do is he's gonna pick a video on his channel and a comment. So you guys are gonna have to go leave a video. A comment on a video of his choosing. We haven't decided yet, or he hasn't decided yet. And we're gonna aim to do the drawing 2 weeks from today if our schedules align. His schedule kind of changes sometimes, so tentatively, we should be figuring out who the winners are 2 weeks from today. That's the goal. That it may be a day or two off depending on schedules, but I'm putting that out there. So stay tuned. There's going to be three winners. First place is getting 5 ounces. Excuse me, 5 ounces. I'm coughing because it's hard for me to give away silver. It hurts my soul. I'm just kidding. First place is going to be 5 ounce. Second place is going to be 3 ounces, and third place is going to get 2 ounces. So that's what we're aiming for. That's how we're going to do it. So stay up on all that.
That's an amazing giveaway. That's huge. And I like the fact that you're splitting it up so that there are multiple winners, yet the prizes are still substantial. I like that. Good forethought.
Yeah, it's been an amazing community, man. I mean, the support. That's why, I don't care if it's a sub. I don't care if it's another creator. I want as many people to get in on this as possible that have been, solid. So I'm happy to do it.
It's going to be like a video.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be updates. Once old Savage tells me what video he wants people to leave a comment on, I'm going to make the video and tell everyone what to do, where to go, and then let it sit for a couple of weeks, get rid of the bots, and going to make it happen. I've got it all in the bag, ready to go.
What are they? Are they just generic buffaloes, or?
It's a mix. I mean, I'm going to tell you, there's no ASEs up in there. There's some proof buffaloes. There's some other cool generics. I kind of mix it up. I think it's good. I think it's going to be good.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that. I know the community greatly appreciates it. Anytime somebody can really afford to give anything away, I think this community is very appreciative of those things.
Mike's epiphany. What? No ASE? Well, I can't afford it. I actually had to donate a kidney today to do it, but I love them all so much I'm willing to do it.
Well, there's another topic of conversation. I haven't looked, but I believe that premiums are on their way back up.
Yeah.
So things like ASEs, I think, are floating in the $35 to $40 range again, easily, which is funny because I picked one up for like $27 like a week or two ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it's already back up. It's just when spot hasn't moved enough, but demand goes up, premiums just kick right back in. And I don't know who has the power over that. Do you think it's the bigger dealers and the suppliers?
I think it probably starts with the mint, and I think it just gets passed on. And I think if people are willing to pay, see, it's kind of a double-edged sword, because if people are paying more, like your wholesalers and your dealers, they're paying more to get them, which they are, than they would something like a standard round. They're going to pass it on to the customer. So if the customers are willing to pay it, why would they stop doing it? But at the same time, if no one's buying them, the price is never going to come down because they're not going to offload them for less than they paid for them. So it's kind of, It just sucks.
Yeah.
It just sucks. It's just a rip off from the rip, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, if you're looking for an ounce of silver, for sure, it's the wrong way to go for just an ounce. When you buy something like that, you're buying, the premium quality of the silver, coin, whatever it might be. I do know my buddy in Texas, he's a newer stacker, and he said he's been doing really good with Britannias and Maple Leafs. Um, that seems to be what he's primarily stacking, and he says at least over there in his market he's getting them for a pretty good deal. So a few dollars more than generic silver, so that's what he's stacking.
Yeah, and I love Britannias, man. I actually I have some gold Britannia action. I love the silver Britannias too, but they have the problem that the maples used to have, and we all know what that is. Those are those nasty milk spots, which it doesn't really change the value, but they're not sexy. And that's too bad because Britannias are beautiful.
Somebody in a comment of a video, and I forget what it was, but they said you could do something, basically like clean off the milk spots. But
you can
I don't know enough about that.
Believe it or not, if you take an eraser, no, I mean I would never do anything to a numismatic, but if it's just a bullion coin, you can get away with this. And I'm not advising anyone to do this, but those big old pink erasers that you had in school as a kid,
right?
Those actually, if you're you got to be ginger, but on like strict bullion stuff, you can actually remove some milk spotting with that. It's weird. I've done it.
Interesting. Yeah,
but
maybe
I don't do it anymore. I mean, I'm just whatever.
That might have been it, because I remember it being like some odd thing, like not really cleaning it, but the eraser, that might actually have been what they referred to.
Yeah, that's the thing. Also, back to the everything would be cheaper if we paid cash. I couldn't, so I went to get make a purchase, and I talked about this in that last video that got 25,000 freaking views, which is crazy. I went to use my my debit card to pull out like $280, and I have a credit union. Okay, I mean I have more than one account, but the bank or the ATM said, yeah, you can't do that. Like my limit went down to I don't even know what, maybe it's 240 now. I don't know, but it's not 280. I can't take that out of an ATM. Whether I can at my actual bank, I don't know, or my credit union itself, I don't know, but that never used to be a thing. I've taken out hundreds of dollars at that ATM that I couldn't get 280 out of. So today when I called Harry and I said, hey, I'm coming in to buy 10 ounces for this giveaway, I don't have cash, and I'm going to use a regular debit card, which I never do, because I didn't have any cash on me, and would I be able to take out enough to get 10 ounces? I mean, it's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. These restrictions that have recently been put on some of us, not all of us, but some of us. Some of you guys are luckier than me.
So I'm trying to think of how long ago this was. This was probably 7 or 8 years ago. I was gambling. Who'd have thought? And so I was working third shift, and I was gambling in some of my free time, because I'm one of those people, if I'm working nights predominantly, unless I had like a large block of time off, I would stay on that shift for the most part, because I don't work well with erratic sleep schedules. So that's what I did. So when I'd have a night off, I'm sitting up at like 1, 2 in the morning, nothing to do, relatively. So I started gambling for fun, not a whole lot of money, but
not for investment purposes.
Yeah, I couldn't get enough money out of the ATM, and I forget. I think my limit's like 300 a day out of the ATM or something like that. It's ridiculous. And so I went to the bank manager and said, "Yo, like we got to fix this. Like how can we fix this?" And he goes, "Oh, okay, yeah, there's a process, and we can do a review." And and then that comes back, and we can up your withdrawal limit. But they cite safety. If somebody brings you at gunpoint to an ATM, we don't want you to be able to liquidate your account. Like, if my life's on the line, give them whatever they want. But okay, sure. So
Yeah,
anyhow,
it's always an excuse.
right. So they did the review and they denied me. They said, we're not going to up your withdrawal limit. You're not withdrawing enough. I'm like, that's not the point. It's when I withdraw, I want to. But no, they reviewed and said no.
And see, again, just like the whole, oh, it's for your safety. 41 watching, 33 likes. Hit the like button. Appreciate you guys. It's just like, oh, it's your safety, blah blah blah. No, it's because they don't have the cash because they're strapped and they don't have as much capital as they should, and they know it. So they tell you, oh, you can jump through these hoops. I mean, this is just my theory. You can jump through these hoops because they know most people probably aren't going to, right? Number one. And number two, if they still feel like they don't have the capital to release, they're we can't do it. You don't take out enough. I mean, why can't they just be honest with people? Well, we know why, but
Okay, so
that's just my theory.
So okay, so how much money do you think? I just Googled this just to see if I could get a reference. How much money do you think is in an ATM or the capacity? What do you think they can store?
Well, I know the ATM we have at work, we put 1,500 in it, it can hold a whole lot more. So I'm gonna say, God, dude, probably 20 grand. I don't know. I mean, those things are huge.
Yeah, it says the average size machine can hold as much as 200,000, though few of them do. In off hours, most machines contain less than $10,000.
Wow.
And this is some result. I don't know how old that is, but that's a lot less than I thought. I know they get filled like every so often, a couple times a week or whatever, but that's crazy to me. I would have thought, yeah, it's like 50 grand or more, you know.
Right.
But there's a lot of different banks and a lot of different ATMs. But like one in a relatively safe location or the ones built into the side of the building at the bank, I've seen those run out of money and you're scratching your head going, how does the ATM run out of money when it can hold that much and it's in a safe location built into a brick wall? I don't get it.
Well, I again, I mean, look at all these banks that are not doing so hot. I don't think they have the capital that they've had in the past to put into those machines because they're off making bad investments and writing mortgage loans with their customers' currency that's in the bank. I just don't. I think so much of their capital. I mean, and it varies bank to bank, of course. I mean, every bank's a little bit different, but man, I think a lot of them are leveraged. I really do.
Yeah, well, you mentioned it in your video. The last time I went in and asked about coin roll boxes at one of my banks, they actually told me that they weren't going to be able to do that anymore. And I know we talked about this, but we're on the live now. But they had informed me that when I come in, if a teller has some excess in their till, what each individual teller has, or if somebody has brought some stuff in, somebody brought in a change dump, then I could get a portion of some of that if it was available, but I wasn't going to be able to get boxes anymore. I don't know if I just have been getting so many and it's causing them some other kind of problem, or like you're saying, they don't want that much cash leaving their bank, because I mean, I'm pulling in a given month probably somewhere between 2 and 3 grand in change boxes out.
Wow.
So
I didn't know you were taking that much out.
Well, yeah, because it's like a cycle. I mean, I don't know. I'm using like say $1,000, but yeah, I don't keep a majority of what I'm looking through. So most of it goes back in, and each month maybe I spend $50 or something keeping change. So I'm not really out of pocket that much because then I go turn it back in, but I generally turn it into another bank, and so they don't get it back. So I don't know if it's that I'm causing them extra work and they don't like that, or they just don't want the physical money problems anymore. It's going to be interesting this next year or two to see how this whole thing really shakes out with the CBDCs coming. The Fed now, I'm still kind of confused about that one because essentially it sounds like crypto, like, the CBDC, if anyone doesn't know, is essentially a Federal Reserve cryptocurrency. They can tell you what they want, but it's blockchain. It's the opposite of all the other cryptos, though. All other crypto is decentralized, but a CBDC is completely centralized by the government.
Right.
So it's a different thing altogether, but the fundamentals are the same. But
I agree with what Mike's Big Epiphany just said. He says cash isn't going anywhere. I think what they're going to do, and of course, I don't have a crystal ball, but I think they're going to slowly implement this digital garbage on people. And I think the younger generation is going to think it's wonderful because, oh, it's so convenient. It's on my little cash wallet or, whatever. And I mean, people love, the Google Pay on their phones and the Apple Pay. It's just so convenient, blah, blah, blah. And I think they're going to eat it up. And they might even offer incentives to get people to use it more. Like, hey, if you do this, we'll add, X more credits or Fed coin or whatever they're going to call this crap.
cash,
Yeah.
they'll do like a cashback program.
Right. And I think that they're going to push it that way. And I think eventually, and you're right, Silver Cigars, I am definitely not a financial advisor. Don't do what I say, you'll go broke. But I think eventually they're just gonna, they're going to move toward that. I'm getting kind of old. I don't know if it's going to happen fully in my lifetime, but I think like people like your kids, man, I think that's the world they'll be living in for sure.
Well, see, and that'll be interesting because, like, I know a lot of our kids. Mine, I have them. My daughter, when I was muted there for a second while you were on that last stint about the ATM and the withdrawal limits, she just brought me. She looked through some of the pennies in her room and brought me all of the copper pennies in a little thing and said, these are all 1981 and before, Dad. These are copper. And so, like, my kids are starting to know. They have a small collection of silver. Granted, my daughter wants to sell hers every other day for something, but, I'm teaching her not to do that. But they're going to know physical cash. I have a giant stack of $2 bills for them, oddities and things. So, and I'm sure they'll end up with my coin collection to figure out what to do with when I'm gone. But it's going to be interesting because a portion of the population will still care about physical money, but the majority won't. So
Right.
I don't think cash is going anywhere. But like we were saying earlier, it may get to a point to where you have to pay an additional fee to deal in cash.
So my silver journey just said I'm at 244 subs, so close to the 250. LOL. Do y'all think we can get silver journey to 250 by the? I think we can do that. Just saying. And apparently, we're starting. The chat's moving. Starting a 250 GAW giveaway maybe, and you're doing a 100 sub GAW giveaway tomorrow. Awesome. 100 sub GAW giveaway. All you're asking for is 6 more subs. I think that's fair.
I got him.
Help you out. I mean, I'm already subbed, but
let me pause that.
Just saying.
Am I a mod on your channel?
I don't know. You should be, but you're not really in the chat right now, so I can't check.
Here, I'll put it in private chat, and you could repost it. Here's his link. I'm assuming his.
Well, here, I'll just make you a mod. Just put something in the chat real quick, and I'll give you a wrench so you can just post it.
I'm not in the chat. I gotta get over to the video.
Give me the finger. Do something. I don't care.
So,
who was it? Was it? It was Mrs. Flip. She taught me about the finger emoji, and I've gotten timed out a couple times by the bot because, man, I'm JK. You are not first, just so you know. But hello. I've gotten in trouble with that emoji.
Oh.
That's me.
Siren already beat me to it. Look at her. Okay.
Boom. 251.
So I don't know if I told you about this. I went to the Walgreens up the road. This was a couple weeks ago. And I knew I was going to be buying a couple things. And I have all this change always. There's quarters here, nickels there. I change everywhere, which is fine. But I had some half dollars and already rolled up, and I knew I'd be spending about 30, $40. I grabbed 4 rolls and I took them with me. That way, if it comes in below what I thought, I'd use the half dollars. And they're rolled, emphasis on already rolled, half dollars. They refused to take them. 4 rolls of half dollars. Now, granted, they're not typical coins, I guess. I get that part. But they're already rolled. They're U.S. currency. They refused to take them. They claimed they didn't have anywhere to put them.
Well, I know where they can put them with their behavior. I got an idea.
Right? But yeah, so I was like, and I didn't like argue with them, but I'm like kind of going back and forth as I'm getting my card out so I can pay for it through other means. And I'm like, you realize these are U.S. currency. They're legal tender, and you have to accept them. Like, you might want to check your stance on this. And they're like, nope, we don't have to take anything we don't want to take.
I would have been like, okay, you know that crack in your butt? That's a card reader. This is where you can shove that roll of halves.
I mean, it's
not just for reading credit cards.
But, how many, times are we going to see these weird payment issues? There for a while, wasn't it? I remember somewhere there after, like, I think it was around like 2010 and things, or maybe it was like, I remember a news event. Some guy went to make the last payment on his house or something, and I don't know, his mortgage company had been shitty to him or whatever. And he was being a jerk, and he went to pay it in like change. And I don't even think it was just pennies or anything, but it was change, like bags of change, hundreds of dollars of quarters or whatever. And they not only did they refuse to take it, but like I think they tried to like sue him or something, make him charge the fee to have extra people count it or whatever it was. But they like hit him back for trying to be a jerk. And
go ahead, sorry.
Because he was making a physical payment. I think the argument was they didn't want to, they claimed they couldn't accept physical payments at that location. And like they gave him a hard time a couple times, so he was being a jerk about it. But yeah, like some of them are like, you have to pay with the card. Some are like, you have to pay with cash. You can pay here, you can't pay here. We're in this weird world of like the different payment methods and the variables that go along with them. It's getting crazy.
So this is a funny story. I couldn't even tell you what year it was. It was probably 2010 to 2013, somewhere in there, and that's just a guess. And I'm almost certain it was B of A, and this is a true story. Some guy who never had a mortgage with them, they claimed that he had defaulted on his mortgage, and they started trying to take his house from him. Well, he ended up using the legal system and won a huge settlement for all the garbage the bank put him through. And they refused to pay. So he came in with the sheriff and a court order, and they started removing assets from the bank, like couches, furniture, computers, because the bank wouldn't pay what they owed him on a settlement for trying to take his house that they never even owned. And I guess once that started happening, they called all the bigwigs and they cut the guy a check right away. But that, I don't know if you can even find this story anymore, but I promise you it was a thing. And I thought, and I'm assuming it was a clerical error. I don't know. It could have been bank greed, but who knows? But that I thought was epically funny. I don't know if anyone remembers that or anyone caught that. That was quite some time ago. But I want to say it was somewhere like California or Florida. It was a sunnier state. But
Florida's just crazy. I've been there. I can't imagine living there with all the news stories and things that come out of Florida. It just seems like every day it's the wild, wild west. There's always something crazy. There's alligators in your backyard. It's a fun place to visit, but I don't think I could live there.
Well, hell, man, there were gunshots in my parking lot the other night. So, I mean, what's worse, gators or gunshots?
Yeah, but you're up there in the blue state, man. That's surprising.
Oh, it's deep blue. Oh, it doesn't surprise me at all. Everything's okay here. Nothing's illegal, and we're gonna have all these laws against law-abiding citizens. But if you're a criminal, you want to break the law, we're good with it here. We don't care.
Yeah, didn't they? Didn't they like take over a portion of Seattle or something? Like, wasn't there like some? I didn't follow all of it. I was too busy working.
Oh, you're talking about Chaz.
Yeah, whatever that was. They it was like this. The citizens tried to claim some area, and the screwed up thing is, people still live there. Like like I have to go through this.
What was the Seattle's mayor's name? She's not the mayor anymore. At the time, it was Jenny something, I think, and she's such a fool. She's like, "Oh, it's the summer of love." Really?
Didn't somebody get shot?
It was like that for quite a while before they dealt with it.
Yeah, so somebody got shot or something. I remember like there was like a thing, and then they had to like force the police to go in, like in force to do something about it. But yeah, it's just if you take me back 5 years and then start trying to tell me all of these things that are going to transpire, it sounds impossible. And then you live through it, sort of, obviously me being, hearing it from the news, but it's like we wouldn't let anyone else get away with that.
Someone to try living in Memphis, man. I've heard lately from a lot of people that Memphis is.
Oh, Memphis is rough, and has been since 3-6 Mafia. They're from Memphis, and Memphis is a really I'm sure not the whole town, but there are rough areas of it. But I think, unfortunately, that can kind of be said about most places. I remember I was driving through somewhere in Indiana, and this was like 2002 or something, and like we're driving, it's nice houses, like very affluent neighborhood. We made legit like 2 turns, and we were in the ghetto. Like, I mean, it was around the corner, zip, and like the roads fell apart instantly. There's trash everywhere and burnt down houses, and we were just like, wait, what just happened? Like,
got their bag
we're like GPS. We're like, where did we go somewhere wrong? Like, and then we look back.
Let me ask you this, because I don't know. I mean, I can only assume. Is Memphis a blue city?
The city, I don't know.
I mean, to be in that shape, one could only assume, because there seems to be a common theme with certain cities like Portland and Seattle and Memphis. Oh yeah, see, I'm getting a bunch of yeses and yeps. Yep. How was I able to piece that together without even knowing that? Huh? And yet, a lot of people still haven't connected those dots, have they? Isn't that just bizarre?
Oh well, it's like Chicago, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have toll roads on the highway, so they have this thing. It's called I-Pass, and so it's this big giant thing that goes across the highway, and it looks like some kids got an erector set and a bunch of GoPros and spotlights and put this all up on over the highway. I mean, 6-lane highway, it goes all over it. And so they have these toll roads set up on the highways there. And after being there and like driving around it and kind of really seeing what it is, aside from it just being really weird. I mean, it's nice that you don't have to stop in traffic, but you have to log on to their system to pay your stuff within 2 weeks. But I just don't like the payment system. So one day I'm like, I'm gonna hit on my maps, avoid toll roads. I know why they have the toll roads and why they're making everybody pay to drive on them, because it takes you above and away from all of the really dangerous areas by hitting the like not toll road thing. Dude, I went through the south side of Chicago like not even, knowing what I was really doing. I'm just trying to get from A to B. And I'm like, oh, okay. That's why people are willing to pay a couple of bucks every time they got to use this road, because they don't want to, get shot or end up in a bad situation. So, I mean, you have that there where they're literally charging people to go around the bad area. Chicago's just a mess, dude. When I'm up in that area and watching, like, if I'm at hotel breakfast and they have the news on, which I never watch, but their news is horrible. They were just trying to run for re-election electing a new mayor, and everyone that was running was, on a,
were they worse than Beetlejuice? Can that even be? She's
somebody beat her, I want to say.
So Beetlejuice is out. That's good.
I'm pretty sure, but everybody was running on the crime. Like, there was one dude, I think he was an ex-police officer. A couple more people. Somebody had a whole bunch of like nurses and ER doctors and people that were just like, we could do so much more if we weren't patching gunshot wounds all the time. Like, it was, that's like, the campaign ads are rough up there because they're also fed up with it. But, I don't know. You can't fix that situation quickly.
They keep voting the same parties into power. What's funny is a buddy of mine and his wife had to go to Chicago, and they'd never been. It was never on their bucket list, which I can understand. And they live here. I'm just outside of Portland, unfortunately. And he's like me. He's got his CHL for Oregon. He's got his Washington CPL and his Arizona CWP. And if he leaves the house, he's packing just like me, and that's just the way it is. And, of course, Chicago doesn't recognize any of his 3 carry cards, so he couldn't carry. So he got like a taser or something. I don't know what he did. And he called me up. And what's funny is I've talked to people that live in Chicago, and they're like, oh, my God, you're in Portland. You got it really bad. I'm like, are you kidding me? You're in Chicago. He calls me up in Chicago. He goes, you're not going to believe this. I go, so what is it? I go, it's worse than us, isn't it? He goes, no. He says the same things that people that lived in Chicago told me, and I thought they were out of their mind until I heard it from someone that's from here that I've known for about 30 years, tell me the same thing, that we in Portland are worse than Chicago. Absolutely blew my mind.
As far as like general crime?
Well, just the homeless situation, blocks and blocks and blocks of, it's scattered throughout the city where there's trash, crime, and just, mayhem. And he says over there it's more concentrated. It's not nearly as big of an area that's like that as it is here. I never knew.
Well, and Chicago's been dealing with that stuff for decades. And I feel like, as far as like the homeless, they probably have more systems already in place just because they've been dealing with it. But the homeless issue out west is just vastly different. In Chicago, in the winter, and heck, even here in Ohio, people will die being out in the winter, being homeless. Like, you can't just sleep in some cardboard box, and you don't have stuff anyway. It's not like you got 4 sleeping bags and 8 blankets and whatever. And no, like, it doesn't work like that. So here, they kind of have to do something, at least for that period of time. And Chicago is even colder than it is here. So they've probably been dealing with that aspect of it a little better. But I don't know. I would say on the general crime, from what I hear, Chicago's pretty bad. Even one of my sites up in that area, they got a hold of me the last time I was coming up, because apparently, like, people were breaking into cars and stuff. And I'm often there late night, overnight, on site. I'll be there till 1, 2 in the morning. So I'm there, my car's there when there's not much else going on outside. And apparently these are the times where they like to hit. So they were like, yeah, just be careful with your car, lock it up, don't keep anything in plain sight and all of those things. And I'm like, okay, great, cool. But,
Yeah, listen to Jerry, everybody. Smash the likes. Appreciate it, Jerry. He's right.
I don't know. I just I don't think we can fix any of this stuff too quickly. I'd like to see some change, but smarter people than me apparently have tried, and we decriminalize marijuana a lot. Have they done it on the federal level yet? I don't think
No,
they have.
no, I don't
They
think so.
just need to do that and then try to focus on bigger problems. As much as I don't know. I don't know that that necessarily helps society. I'm not going to make that argument, but just to try to focus on, I guess, bigger problems.
Well, whether you're pro legalization of it or not, I mean, yeah, it's not a big problem. Number one, number two, let's quit focusing on passing all these gun control and air quote laws. I mean, look, criminals don't follow laws, so why don't we start hammering on the criminals nuts a little bit harder? Let's try that.
Yeah.
Let's. I really believe this. If you truly care about people, you hold them accountable so that A, they can grow, and B, they don't hurt other people. So they're accountable for their actions. And we just don't do that anymore as a society. And that's love. Holding someone accountable, that's how you care about somebody. Because if somebody's not forced to do better, they won't. A lot of the times. Very few people take that upon themselves, and we've just become such a weakened society that way overall. And what's funny is I feel like the average person isn't that way. And I feel like it's just a select, small number of people that have the power that are doing these things, and it's just disgusting. And all of us probably could make a difference if we all stood up together and said, "Yeah, we're done with this."
Oh man,
we're all trying to survive.
Yeah, I don't know where you hit critical mass. Like if you look at
usually in the chest,
unions, right?
That was a joke.
Look at unions. What happens when people really try to stay? They almost fight harder against it. And I'm not, no specifics here. I know there's been a couple of companies have some union. I think Starbucks, maybe they tried to start one, and some other different companies. But unions, number one, I'll say this, and this is my personal experience. A union has never done anything meaningful for me as a member, and I've been a part of a few over the years. That's just my experience. I'm sure in some cases they're awesome, I'm sure iron workers and the steel workers unions are, electricians unions are probably a lot better, but food and commercial workers unions, I've been a part of those and some others. They never did anything for me. There was actually an issue one time, and it was questioning and stuff. I won't get into it, but they made this whole big deal of we have to have a union rep there while we question. So I'm thinking this person's kind of here in some part for my assistance, right? To some degree. They're here, on my behalf with me, to see how this goes. And the questioning was just had gotten weird. It was almost like a bad interrogation and all this. And I remember at one point I looked over at this union rep who's just sitting there quietly, and I'm like, are you gonna say anything or do anything? They said, oh no, I'm just here to make sure that they don't overstep their bounds. And I'm like, okay, so again, are you going to say anything? Because I thought the line of questioning had gotten kind of ridiculous. And they're like, no, I don't see. I'm just here to make sure that your rights aren't violated and blah blah blah. They've done. So literally, they did nothing. They didn't stand up for me. They didn't advise me at all. They were just there. I don't even really know what for, just for appearances almost. And right. So I'm paying these people every week, but for what? I can't ever think of one thing that the union ever did for me.
So as an employee, is you paid for them and they didn't do anything for you, and they were just there, for to make people feel warm and fuzzy by being there. That sounds a whole lot like government, don't it?
Yeah, I mean, anytime anyone can stand to make a profit on something, it's I feel like they have to. Like, when's was it? Wasn't it like penicillin or the polio vaccine or something? Was like the last large medical breakthrough that was really given to the public that they refused to like patent and make millions of dollars off of.
I'm not sure. I've heard some of what you're talking about, but I don't know. I'm
Well,
not.
just in this day and age, that stuff doesn't happen on a
No,
large scale. I think tomorrow, if we came up with the cure for cancer, I think they would sell it to us, if
oh
we could
yeah,
afford it.
yeah. And if it was something that they couldn't patent, they would try to ban it and make it by prescription only. That's what they would do. So they could
Oh
probably.
no, you need to brush up on your patent laws, dude. They can patent, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody in the comments can correct me if I'm wrong, but they can literally like patent the building blocks of life.
Well,
Like the whole DNA sequencing and all of that. Like if I'm almost certain if they discover like a change that they can make that gives a certain outcome that they're looking for, they can patent that.
I'm going to be
So,
very careful about how I say this because they're going to be scrutinizing me very soon. Um, when the beer flu thing happened, do you know what NAC is? NAC.
I've heard of it. I couldn't tell
Okay,
you what it stands for.
it's N-acetylcysteine. Okay, and what it is it produces. It's a precursor to glutathione, which is your body's natural antioxidant that it creates, and it's very
Okay.
powerful. It's good for your liver, your kidneys, your heart, stuff like that. They put that in, and it's been FDA approved since like the 80s. Okay, all it is an amino acid. They put that, and if you take it like I do, make sure you take it on an empty stomach so you absorb it because the bioavailability sucks. Okay, um, they put that in the hangover stuff. A lot of the hangover stuff. Take this today, don't be hungover tomorrow. That you get at the liquor store. You know what I'm talking about? You've
Hmm.
seen those. I'm sure you've seen those things, right?
Yeah.
Okay, they've been putting it in there for years. When the beer flu came out, the government realized that this stuff was so effective at preventing people from getting the beer flu or helping them recover faster. They couldn't monopolize it, so they threatened to ban it, and all the retailers pulled it in panic, and then nothing came of it. And the reason they gave is because this is being marketed as a hangover cure, and that hasn't been proven, so we can't have that. Really, that's been out for years for that use. It only happens that you care about it when it affects your pharmaceutical profits because people could take that from Amazon or Walmart or their local store, and you're not getting paid. It's ridiculous. True story. That was the cover that they used, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's a whole thing in the medical world about what they call off-label uses, and I don't know um, what like it takes, but basically, as I understand it, a panel or whoever, some portion of the community of medical professionals has to say, yes, this is for treating this. And it can have what they call off label uses or sometimes side effects that are positive, and only certain places even acknowledge they exist. I can think of uh, Kentucky was one that I know for. It was like some medication my buddy's um, wife needed, because he would be like, "Oh, this weekend's gonna suck. I got to drive down to Kentucky. I got to see my wife's doctor." And I'm like, "Why? Like, why are you? I don't understand. Why are you going all the way there? Like, is a specialist? What's going on?" He goes, well, sort of like the medication that she's on. It's an off-label use for whatever it was, and Ohio won't acknowledge that, but Kentucky would allow them to. So they had to go all the way to this doctor in Kentucky to get this medicine to prescribe for the not official use of whatever that effect was to help her with, I want to say it was like MS or something that she had. But yeah, like drive to the other state just to get the care you need because we act like this medicine or pill or whatever it is doesn't do the things that it does.
It always comes down to money. Always. Are you looking at the chat at all? There's this channel. Yeah. I love this channel name. Multitude of Gratitude. That is the channel name. That is so creative. I actually, just so you know, I took a screenshot of that channel and I sent it to Sal. I said, look how much people love you. I did. So that's a great channel name, by the way. It's amazing. This community is amazing. It's the best. It's the best community on YouTube as far as I'm concerned. I totally agree with you, Silver Virginia. I mean, see, I did a video about this. You helped create. Well, you created the thumbnail for it actually because you're a G like that. It's called Stackers or Dinosaurs, and we really are. This is what I love about us. We believe in old money, like sound money, physical assets. We believe in snail mail. Like we are dinosaurs, and you know what? It works. It works.
Yeah,
I've had many style-related channel names. That's friggin' epic.
Yeah, my kids tell me all the time how I'm old. They're like, "What? You still send letters? We have to go to the post office? Like, what? Can't you email it?" Like, no, you can't email physical things. That's, man, when that comes, I want a transporter. I was just watching Star Trek earlier this evening. I want a transporter, and then I'll just send you the silver, and boom, it's there.
That's funny. Friggin' Silver and Cigars wants me to do the dinosaur sound effect. I can't, dude, because I've got my headphones plugged into the speakers on the computer. That way it doesn't feed back into the. So basically, that way I can hear just Stack it when he talks, and it doesn't feed through the camera. So I'm just not that talented, brother. Not right now. But it would be funny. That was a good sound effect. I like that. I think he told me the other day that he spit out his drink when he heard that or something. Is that what you said? You're like taking a sip of pop or whatever. You just spit it out all over. That's epic.
So Credit Suisse, I think, is getting bailed out for their troubles. I tried to read something earlier, but it looks like they're solving that one. SVB reportedly is getting bought by some New York bank. But I think it's just a shell game at this point. Like, one fails. Why would you buy a failed bank?
Yeah, right.
It's like insolvent, right? It doesn't make sense to me.
You could get their assets for cheap, but in theory, they're going to have to, sell all their assets to, in bankruptcy court anyway. So it's just, yeah.
It just doesn't make sense. I think it's just the shell game. I think they're playing their cards to reassure the public. And so for those reasons, I think metals might continue to go up a little bit more, but I think here tops within like a month or two, the buzz will die down. Hopefully the defaults will stop. And then I think things will start slipping back to where we have been, maybe in the $20 range for silver and probably around the 1900 mark for gold.
Now, what will premiums do, though? Will premiums follow? Because even my LCS point, he goes, it almost seems like when prices go down, premiums go up. And I'm like, you're right. It kind of does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, supposedly premiums are supposed to be the cushion for demand, right? Because if demand's really high, but spot hasn't followed, right, then they're going to put the price up, thus the premium, because somebody's willing to pay it. Some guy wants rounds at 23, and the guy's like, no, they're 25 today. But he walks out the door, and then the guy right behind him comes in and buys them at 25. Mm-hmm. And that's why premiums, unfortunately, have become acceptable, because it's worth what somebody's willing to pay for it. So
Yep.
then on the other side, when spot starts to drop, the problem is, and where premiums come in, is like you were stating earlier, they might have purchased those rounds, let's just say. I mean, I'm sure they have profit in there, but you know, they're off a couple bucks now from spot on what they had to purchase these for. So they're still 25 a piece, even though spot's back down to 21. As a matter of fact, not too long ago, my LCS around the corner, I went in and spot was like $20, just over $20, like 20.50 maybe, something like that. And he was still selling at 26. And I almost called him crazy. I still bought, but not nearly as much as I would have. But, you know, just because he's like, that's what I got in them. That's what I paid for. Like, I'm not making an arm and a leg off of them, but, you know, I can't sell them at a loss.
Right.
So they're still 26 a piece.
Right.
And so
looks like Rich is dipping out. Have a good night, buddy. Thanks for coming by. Appreciate you. Sorry, I didn't mean to step over you there.
Yep. No. Have a good evening, Rich. Thanks for hanging out. So yeah, it's the premiums.
Scully, have a good one.
Yes.
Appreciate you coming by.
Did you hear what was going on with American Silver Eagles in the Mint?
A little bit. You probably are more aware and more qualified to speak about it at this point than I am.
Yeah, it seems like not only are people getting fed up with them, but I don't think that the demand is there. So they're up. They raised the household limit on them, which usually is an indicator that they're not selling that well. And from what I looked at, it looks like the amount that they're minting, they give the numbers on their website. They're not really up to par with historical levels. And so people are thinking that in the current market that it's kind of drying up a bit. They're, you know, people are getting fed up with the mint and their prices and the limits and the difficulties, and you know, they're just had enough and they're not selling the way that they were. And so I think for March they were at like, we're most of the way through March, but last I checked they were at like half of their normal mintage for the month of March, you know, going back historically. So
yep,
we could really see that, like, the mint as a business is completely dependent on, you know, stackers and collectors. And so,
well, yes, but it's also the U.S. Mint, so I'm sure they'll survive.
no, that's if I'm not mistaken, I believe that part is separate because they don't make money off printing money. I think, I could be wrong, but I think the division that actually prints stuff for sale is, yes, it's still the U.S. Mint, but financially, I think they're separate because the other is basically a write-off by the government that we have. So, you know, it's an expense.
Yeah, but I feel like the government wouldn't let the U.S. Mint fail, just like they won't let the big banks fail.
No, I don't think they'll fail. But if you think about the Mint as a business, that they are selling the coins and things, that portion of it could go not bankrupt, but they could go out of business if people just stop using them and lose faith in their ability to offer good things. I mean, even the Eagle is what, 86? It's only been around since then. And the people like it, but it seems like after so much time, they're becoming disenfranchised with. I know a lot of collectors talk about like slabbed ASEs, and there's millions and millions of these coins minted. Like, yeah, and their point is kind of valid. Who cares if you have an MS-70? Like, another 500,000 people probably do too. Like, it's not really that special because of the mintage amounts. So, I mean, there's some arguments to be made there. Like, a lot of the stuff coming out of the U.S. Mint, unless it's a limited run, isn't really that special.
Right. Well, I'm getting old, man. I knocked my camera out of whack. Didn't even realize it. I actually got to get some dinner cooking here, dude. I didn't have time to cook dinner.
What is that round you got there in front of you for the camera view?
I got that today, actually. And believe it or not, it's actually, hold on, I have my little, it's actually a coin. I don't think there's a dollar value on it, but it's a Noah's Ark, and it's actually a sovereign deal. No, it's weird. So I don't know. I haven't really looked at it that much. I got it, 3 hours, not even 3 hours ago. So I haven't really had time to check it out because I was rushing to get this whole thing going. And then I had that bank fiasco because I'm an idiot where I had to go put money in my account because I'm stupid.
It happens.
No, dude. All right. This is not holding my camera. So I'm just going to grab a big old box of bullets. 45 ACP. These will hold the camera from moving. The 3 rounds weren't doing it. You see the cord, it's plugged into my tower, right? Mm-hmm. And the cord likes to move a lot. And then the camera starts going in all different directions. So I think 50 rounds ought to hold her in place. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, 45 ACP box of that's well over 5 pounds.
It's a heavy box.
Yeah.
And I think those are, and don't get me wrong, I just wanted one to have one, but I think it's a extremely overrated caliber. But I don't want YouTube to hate me, so I better not talk about that. They probably don't hate me. I'm a stacker. They don't like me to begin with.
Yeah, you can get away with a little bit. But yeah, the pretty stuff is nice to have, like that American flag bar that I got, and you got one too, except yours is bigger.
That's what she said.
Sometimes you just see things and you need them. You want to pick them up because they're actually pretty, and you usually pay a premium for it. But I bet that one wasn't too bad though.
The 10 ouncer.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to tell you a story. It wasn't. Could have been better. I did use I didn't want to wait for the e-check because I wanted it as soon as possible. I just had to have it. I don't know why. So I used a card, which, of course, I paid a credit card fee on. And I thought to myself, well, since I'm using a card and paying more, should I use the credit card or the debit card? I used the credit card, got the points, and then I sent the payment in for the amount that I spent. Because I get 1.5% cash back. I could have got it cheaper. I could have got it for like $246, I think, at the time, which isn't bad. But I ended up paying like $256, I think, because I was greedy about wanting it now. I don't know what it was. I just wanted to see that bar because I'm dumb, and I don't do that very often. But sometimes you just gotta have something, and you want it now.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen a couple of things here recently. I've wanted to pull the trigger on, but I haven't yet. But that's why I don't go online and look at them, like the naked lady bars that you have. I quit looking at those. I kept looking at them for like a few weeks, and then I forget who else it was after seeing them from you that somebody else picked one up. 365. And so like I keep hearing people, and I'm like, I want one, but I just don't. I look at that and I'm like, nah, I'd rather just get like a 10-ounce bar. And then basically I had to stop looking because I found myself going back to the website every couple days looking at it. Yeah, you can get caught up in some pretty silver for sure.
Well, and look what happened to me. Once I ordered one, and then like a day later, I'm like, nah, I gotta have at least 2 of those. And then that whole series is gorgeous. Other guys are putting up bars from that series that are different. I'm like, well, that's sexy too. Now I want that. So I get it, man. Certain things are flashy and sexy, and you want them.
You know what I saw the other day? And I get it, but I don't at the same time. Germania Mint put out an Allegories 10-ounce, right? I forget who. I saw somebody do the unboxing. I watch a lot of videos when I do get around, and I try to get around to different people, so I forget who it was. But they were doing an unboxing of a 10-ounce Allegories, and I think it was Allegories. Anyhow, I'm expecting it to be like a big coin because I've seen those kinds. They have them up to like, I think, kilos. But it was the regular size of a coin, but just really thick, like this thick.
That's what she said.
And that part I don't get. I don't understand why they went that direction with that coin, because it's just weird. It looks like a barrel, which is funny because it has the reading on the edges, but it goes all the way down. So it looks kind of weird, but man, like it just, I didn't know that existed, and I saw it and I'm like, that's one I know I could stay away from just because it's odd, its shape and everything.
Right.
But like also the stackers, like I got a 2-ounce South Korea stacker, and I like it.
Scottsdale stacker.
Yeah, but who has these and actually stacks them? Because a lot of times, like the Scottsdale stackers, this is stackable. They're too pretty to really stack. Like I almost think you're doing them a disservice if you're literally just stacking them. You're probably scratching, and I know they're not kind of up to par with like gradable coins, so to speak, but still, if you're stacking them on top of each other, I think you're damaging them. Plus, they're not in a capsule; they're going to oxidize and
right. So I was thinking about cooking some dinner, man. I'm fat. I gotta eat, huh?
Yeah, you gotta eat.
I gotta eat, dude. I'm a big boy. Before I do that, though, tomorrow I'm going to have Silver and Cigars. And look, if you guys don't know that guy, you need to watch him. He's funnier than hell. He did you guys catch the video he did where he got kicked out of the house for smoking by the wife, and he finishes the video in the van? That was epic. And then he did another video the other day. He's like, yeah, I'm just down here in my mom's basement making crappy YouTube videos. Dude, the guy's funny. So tomorrow I'm gonna look like an idiot because he's gonna have all the humor, but that's okay. We all have our gifts, You're a brain, like you're super smart. He's super funny. The jury's still out on what my gift is. We're still trying to find it, but we all have our gifts in this community. And man, he's funny.
You have the face for radio.
I do have the face for radio, and that's not my line. I heard that on YouTube a long time ago. I'm like, damn, that's good. I got a face for radio and a voice for the mute or for the deaf. Yeah, check him out. He's going to be here tomorrow. If all goes well, unless there's some technical issues that I don't foresee happening.
All right, cool.
We're going to do tentatively. We're going to announce the winners. April 3rd is the goal on Savage's channel, but there will be a video about how to get in on my GAW, my giveaway. I want everyone to get in on that. So pay attention to my videos. And if y'all want to give me some pity love, you can go watch my last video called, what do I even call it? The Bank Said This. That's at 25,000 views. Give me a pity if you get me to 30K. I'll love you forever. Like the video, hit the thumbs up if you're in here. Catch the video tomorrow. Please go to Just Stack's channel. Go annoy him in the comment section. Dude, you've been putting out some really killer videos lately, like that Benjamin Franklin video. Dude, who knew all that? Like, there's the zero reserve fractional reserve banking that a lot of people aren't talking about that you did a couple videos back, like, and that wasn't the title, but that is just gold, dude. It's virtual gold. People really need to pay more attention to your channel. I want people to annoy the hell out of you.
Yeah, I try to offer some different ideas and information. I always kind of hate doing a video that everybody else has done. I'm sure eventually it's going to be unavoidable. But until then, I try to be as creative as possible and put out interesting things. The quotes from Franklin was, with all the banking stuff and everything going on, I was looking for good financial information and quotes and things from people. And Franklin didn't even hit my radar at first. And then, I got around to it and I'm like, oh, well, let me look and see. Because I know he had a penny saved, I think everybody knows that one. And then I got into it and I'm like, what? Like he has a lot. And so there's a big reason why he is probably still so well loved. That's just, he's like one of the smartest guys. I mean, from diplomacy to economics to, I'm sure, just being a person in general, just a wealth of knowledge. It's probably that generation's Elon Musk, essentially. Didn't seem like there wasn't anything he couldn't do.
This is just, this community is so phenomenal. We're all here talking. Somebody said thanks for the live stream. We're all here talking, and if we, and not just on YouTube, but in general, I mean, if this community supports each other, we will all succeed. And I really want to see that happen. I want to see all of us support each other and watch each other's content and shout each other out and grow together. Like, I'm not competing with anybody. I mean, I'd lose anyway. This is just, I love watching. Like, how excited did we just make somebody tonight over how many subs? How many subs did you get? You got up to like 2. I can go look, but I'm not that I'm not very talented multitasking wise. But I mean, just making someone's day. Everybody that watches us has the ability to do that, and if we support each other, I think we can all go a long way. And
so if you're talking
learn things from each other.
If you're talking about my silver journey, he's up to 255 subscribers.
That's exactly what I was talking about. And what were you at when we started? 245?
He was he at least 10. I think he pulled out of that. And now I got more videos I got to go check out because now I got to look at his channel.
Yeah, I've been watching him. Dude, and here's the thing. I get so many friggin' notifications now because things are growing on my end, and dude, I can't. I try to react and respond to everyone's comment. It's getting to be too much. I try to watch everyone's videos all the time. It's getting to be too much where I can't keep up because I do work 7 days a week. So I try to, physically go to people's channels and watch them because I don't catch every notification. I'm going to be honest. I mean, by the time I log out this video, it'll say 9+. I guarantee it. And it's just like, dude. And that's the other thing too is if I'm subscribed to you, I also have the bell hit for all. That's just how I roll. So that just puts a ton of notifications in my box.
I will say this though, and I try to do this for my friends. So when a notification comes through like that, when you have the bell notification, did you know if you can just like not swipe it off, like once you dismiss it from like your smartphone, I'm guessing we're talking about here, you swipe it away, that dismisses the notification, and that's all well and good, and you'll mentally know to go check out that video. But if you don't swipe it away and leave it on your phone until you have time to click on it and watch it, or even to let it play, it means more for that channel, literally in the algorithm and everything, to have somebody click on the notification alert rather than going and finding the video on their own. It does mean more. It's incremental, I'm sure, to some degree, but it shows that you have like a better fan base. Because if you look in your analytics, it's tracked. It'll show you how many of your viewers are actually clicking that notification, and it's something that they look at.
That's interesting. That's good enough. I'll sub. I am at Subway getting a sub. LOL. All right, now that's just not very nice because I just told you I'm hungry.
Yeah.
What kind of sub?
Yeah, he's getting hungry.
What kind of sandwich? I must know. I must know these things. All right, dude. I'm gonna cook dinner. Y'all are friggin' fantastic. Hey, for real, pay attention. Keep up on the videos because as soon as Savage tells me what video he wants y'all to go comment on his channel, I'm gonna put it out.
Yeah, 10 ounces
rules.
grabs, right? Yeah.
And yes, I met International Stacker about 3 weeks ago. He finally dropped the video yesterday that we did together, and it was awesome. It was epic. Super good guy. It's crazy. Okay, people I've been like International Stacker and Sal and Yankee and Dragons and even Silver Slayer. Like I watched those guys like years ago, and it's crazy because number one, never did I think I'd have a channel. Number one. Number two, you never ever expect to meet somebody like that, and you never expect that they're going to want to meet you. And when you meet them, they're like, "Yeah, we're doing a video." You're like, "What?" Like, dude, that's so awesome. Like most YouTubers are cutthroat in most most niches, most communities, and it's just not like that with people like us and the stackers. And it was cool. So go check out his video that we did together. It was fun. My legs look really small at the angle he shot, so it looks like I never squatted a day in my life. It's weird. I don't know.
Leg day.
But yeah, you'll see it. It was called. My channel name was in the title, and it was at the airport. But it was like 2 videos ago. You'll see it. It was a good time, and that guy's, it's like what you just said, Silver Journey. Try to stay humble. That is why I like people like International. That is why I like people like Sal. I mean, Sal is huge, and he is the most humble guy ever. He watches us small guys. He comments on our videos. He'll shout you out in his live streams. That friggin' guy is the most humble channel I've ever met in my life. And you know what? That's what we all need to try to be, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
We're all just people.
Yep. Raise everybody up together.
Absolutely.
All right, man. Well,
you have time for you. You should make time for them.
Yeah. What are you cooking?
Probably some hamburger and maybe some broccoli or something. I don't know.
All right.
Put some meat in there. See what happens.
I'm doing grilled cheese this weekend.
Oh, dude, you suck. Well, I like grilled cheese. This guy, man. I'm not a cheeser. I'd make one, dude. You're cruel. That's mean.
Yeah. Add it to the shopping list.
Mello is gaining on Sal and the humble. Yeah, Mello, dude. Mello's another guy, man. Like, Mello Stacks is just, and his talent is singing.
Yeah, the voice, man. I can't compete with that.
Hello, it's Mello, and I'm back with another video. I mean, he can never drop that, dude. That's his signature.
If he gets smart, he'll pre-record it and make it an intro.
That's a good point.
All right,
guys got the humor. You got the brains. Mello, he's got the camera personality and the friggin' the singing voice, and the jury's still out on my ass. We don't know. Well, we'll find something.
You apparently have just the general popularity. I'm curious to see where you're at in another 6 months. Because you've had some breakout, and I think it seems like that's going to continue.
It could,
I'm proud
tomorrow, but who knows? I mean, I'm still, you know what? Even if I end up with 0 subs and I don't get any watch hours, I'm still going to pump out videos because I enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I'm not.
That's not why you do it, but it's a confirmation that you're on the right track for sure.
Yep. My Silver Journey's only 5 weeks in, dude. You're killing. Oh, savage. The jury is still definitely out. LOL. Hello, everyone. All right, Savage. You missed this because you were probably sleeping and being lazy. But I told people here that I'm going to do a video that we're going to aim for the 3rd, hopefully, to draw the names. Hopefully, if our schedules align, which is 2 weeks from today. But you got to pick a video on your channel, and you got to pick the comment you want them to leave on it so we can let them all know. What's up, Triple P? How you doing, buddy? So the ball's in your court, brother. I got the 10 ounces today at Harry's. Let's rock. So think about it. Put that thinking cap on, that big brain of yours, buddy. Put the pressure on him now. Now he's sweating. He's like, oh, I got to do it. All right. I'm going to end it here, which sucks because a couple of cool people just joined the chat, but I'm fat and I got to cook. I got to eat, guys. I'm getting hungry and grumpy. I had a protein shake before this, and that just ain't cutting it. Going to be honest. I didn't plan. I failed to plan properly.
Yeah, that's not a meal.
No, it kept me from being too grumpy on the stream. That's all it did.
All right, man. We'll go get some dinner and we'll talk soon.
You guys all rock. I appreciate every one of your time, and keep stacking.
Are we still live? Did he end it? I'm going to end it. All right. Peace, guys.